air conditioning. Oh, hi. Hi, guys. We are live. Look at that. All right, let's get this show on the road. Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Our Parents' Basement. Thank you. Thank you for joining us once again on your Thursday evening. Charles with the stealth push right there.
I said I was pushing the button.
Yeah, I wasn't
You
expecting
guys said yes, push the button. I'm like, okay, I'm pushing the button.
Then Turf's got to ask questions, and they're like, oh, yeah, the button's not pushed. We can talk about all these sorts of questions. So
It did take like 40 seconds for it to start.
So, but here we are, another Thursday evening, another new episode. I'm excited to be here. So, yes, thank you for joining us. I am Philip, and with me this evening, we have the usual suspects. The first is Jason, but I call him Turf. Turf, how you doing this evening?
Man, I'm happy to be here. I'm excited. I flew in right under the radar just now. I flew in, if you will. Yeah, my internet was sketchy, but I got everything reset and everything's working, so we should be on for a fun-filled evening.
Yes, maybe. We should. And I noticed you are wearing a little something on one of your hands.
Oh yeah, it's my wedding ring.
Yeah, I haven't seen that before.
Oh yeah, it's noticeable. So
Bing. So good for you. We also have Charles with us this evening. And Charles, how you doing?
Doing all right. Nothing too exciting going on.
That's fine. Hey, no news is good news. So welcome, everyone. This should be a good time as usual. And before we begin, I have a little bit of an announcement to make. These guys already know of this, but maybe some of our fans may not know of this, but I have taken the plunge and started my own video game review website, which I'm really excited about. Thank you. For a while, I wanted to do this. I think it was back in 2002, I started writing video game reviews just for fun. And I'm going to continue to do that just for fun. But the place where I used to write them, they keep on changing things around. And the website is already pretty notorious for being kind of a crap show. So I thought to myself, you know what? What is stopping me from having my own place to house all my old reviews and a place to put my new ones and a place where I can just write the way I want to write? So if you guys are ever bored and maybe have some questions about a game that you are looking into, check out www.cashltriumph.com, and who knows, maybe you'll learn something there. So, yeah, I'm excited about this.
I'll tell you what, it's not if you're bored. Don't do it if you're bored. If you're looking for something to read, if you want something to tickle your intellect, we're not doing this when we just have no time to do it. We're making this priorities. Priorities, go to cashltriumph.com.
Thank you, Turf. Mr. Triumph, if you're nasty. I have to give a huge shout out to my friend Chris for hooking me up with this guy who helped me design this whole thing. So thank you for that. And thanks for all the support from other folks who've been looking at it and giving me feedback on it and liking it and reading some of the content. It's been a lot of fun putting this thing together, and it's been a long time coming. So that's my big announcement for the evening.
Man, I'm really, really pumped for you. I'm really excited for you. I'm glad you went ahead and did that because I know it's something you've been wanting to do for a while. I'm proud of you, man. It takes a lot to take that first big step. Now, the bigger step is keeping it going.
What was that?
Keep it going.
Oh, I plan to. Whenever I finish a game, I like to write about it because it's a fun process for me. And even if the game was one I didn't care for, it's still fun to write about. And one of the good things about that is then if someone asks you for your opinion on a game, you don't have to kind of scramble and rethink of everything that you did or did not like about the game. You can just send them a link to something you wrote, and So what do I think of this game? Boom, there's my answer. Read this. That's how easy it is. So yeah, that's one of the reasons why as well. But that's my big announcement for the evening. And now what we're going to do is shift gears and get to our main topic. And this topic comes to us courtesy from the lovely Charles. So Charles, why don't I? Yes, you.
Okay.
That makes me so surprised. I'm gonna hand the floor to you. What was your idea for this evening's topic?
My thing was, where would be your dream vacation? Where do you like your bucket list vacation? What is place it? Something you want to do for a vacation that is, going to cost like thousands upon thousands upon thousands of dollars and take like lots of time to do. That's
That's an interesting question because we're this is our parents' basement. We're gamers. A lot of times when they think gamers, they don't think of us as well-traveled folks or folks who want to see the world or that sort of thing. And if we do travel, it's to go to a game convention or go to a cool game store, which is fun. Don't get me wrong, but I think the three of us really do enjoy traveling. And Charles, this was a good idea for a topic because there's lots of places I want to go. I'm sure there's places that the two of you want to go as well. So yeah, let's just dive right in. Charles, this is your idea. What made you think of this in the first place?
I'm kind of loosely planning the vacation for Jenny and I for maybe next year at some point. So I'm like, okay, this one's not going to be that bad. Go on Expedia, see like, okay, how much would this flight here be? So like, oh, that's not that bad. It's under, for like a whole week. Like I was just like picking Scotland for a whole week in Scotland. It's under $2,000 for the two of us for flight, hotel, and rental car.
That's really, really reasonable.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Now I've got to look into. You said Scotland?
Yeah, Scotland.
Why Scotland?
Edinburgh. Well, that's my my other heritage. I'm part Scottish too, so
I don't see the Scottish party very often.
Well, sometimes my other beard, sometimes real red hairs that peek out, so there's the Scottish side peeking out.
That'd be really cool, and the price sounds amazing. So you're thinking
this may actually happen?
Yeah. You what?
This may actually happen soon. So,
man, how cool would that be if you were to go there and you could, broadcast OPB from Scotland? Not that we would want you to take time out of your vacation for this thing, but
yeah,
I mean, we're already internationally known.
Yeah, we've got viewers in the UK. We got viewers in the
Canada,
Sweden, I think.
Wait, what? We do?
Yeah, we're worldwide. Actually, believe it or not, we're big in Japan.
Hey, sweet.
Yes, thank you, Japan.
Yes.
But that's not my dream trip,
Scotland's not your dream trip.
No, it's something I like to do, but a dream trip, we actually go to France and follow the Tour de France for the whole from start to finish.
Wow.
All 21 stages. So,
how long are the 21 stages of the Tour de France?
Depends on the stage. Some of them are like 150, 200 kilometers. Then you got the time trials, which are only like 30, 40 kilometers.
So you're
how many days though?
Like, is that
21?
Wow.
21 days. Look, just call
2 rest days.
60 miles a day.
More than 60 miles a day. They're doing 100, 110 miles a day.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought you said like 100 kilometers.
Yeah, 181 kilometers.
Oh, so okay. I thought you said like 100 kilometers. So they're doing, dang, 100 miles. That's a long ways. What? Okay. All right, cool. What? Like follow it? You mean like get in a car and chase them?
Yeah. Yeah, or just pick a side on the road and just be one of the schmangies on the side of the road and cheer it on.
Like, okay, I know you're really into cycling. And,
oh yeah.
Do you have like a favorite cyclist? Cyclist?
Not right now.
But I mean, okay. Other than Lance Armstrong, can you name me one more cyclist?
TJ Van Garden, Jan Ehrlich, Alberto Contador, Marco Vantani, Mario Cipollini.
Nobody knows these
Mario
people.
One. That I think because I watched a documentary about Lance Armstrong, and that Mario name sounds familiar.
Yeah, he's never finished a Tour de France. He finished. He went for the first 2 stages. As soon as they got to the mountains, he's like, "I'm done."
Too much for him.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because these mountains are, what, next week they got stage 11. It starts in Albertville, where they had the Winter Olympics many years ago.
Mm-hmm.
The first climb is a 12.4 kilometer climb up an 8.2% gradient average.
Good grief.
Then they go down, they go up another one that's 12.6 kilometers on a 7.7 kilometer gradient
God,
average.
that would not be good for your body.
Then they got a short one that's 5.7 kilometers of a 6.5. Then the final one's a category 1 climb, which is 17.6 kilometers of a 5.8% gradient.
Jeez.
And that's just
okay.
That's the first mountain stage.
You've got to be going down some.
Oh yeah. They go. They descend. It'll descend. So you're going about easily 60, 70 miles an hour.
That would be scary. Because, I mean, like, if
yeah.
you hit a bug at 70 miles an hour, and they're pretty much riding a razor blade because those things are tiny, that's or like a pebble would wreck you.
Yeah. A guy, I think in the Giro d'Italia or Volta España, a couple years ago, he died in a descent.
He died?
Really?
Oh, my God. From
People have died in the Tour de France. In the Grand Tours, there's been people who've died.
Because of bad road conditions, or like I figured they would clean it or something.
They crashed. One guy died because of blood doping.
Oh, I heard about that.
About Mount Ventoux.
Wow.
It's like it's so high. There's no trees up in the up on the top of there.
I know that doping that's what Lance Armstrong is infamous for. And so basically, that's when they kind of like inject roids into their bloodstream. Is that how that all works, or?
No, they pull out their blood.
Okay.
And they engineer it to have more red blood cells, so it carries more oxygen. The more oxygen your blood could carry, the more endurance you get.
And then they just re-inject the blood?
Yeah.
Wow.
They were doing that at one time. Yeah, they would draw their own blood, and then they would put it like overnight. They would put their own blood, like a blood transfusion overnight, and it would bring you back to life.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. So
like the Tour de France, it's not about strength; it's more about endurance.
Absolutely.
And be able to go like 2,200 miles in 21 days.
That is
an average speed of like 28 miles per hour throughout the whole.
Oof. Now, can any Tom, Dick, or Harry participate in the Tour de France, or do they have to try out first? Okay.
You got to be part of a UCI Tier 1 team.
Oh, okay. Because Lance's was like the Postal Service or something.
Yeah, they're a Tier 1 team.
Okay.
Yeah, the Postal Service team came out from the 7-Eleven team, which was the Motorola team, then became the U.S. Postal Service team.
Okay. Would you ever, I mean, if you had the time and this was like, would you actually try out? If
God, I'm too old.
Okay, I wasn't trying to word the question. I was like, yeah, are you old enough or young enough to do for this?
Those dudes are like elite athletes.
Yeah, it takes a lot to get to that level.
Yeah, I can imagine.
I'm a Category 4 road racer right now.
Okay.
And these guys are up to Cat 1, so I have to win a lot of races in the next few years. So
the next best thing you can do is go on your trip. Yeah.
And people will get their bikes and follow the tour up from behind, or before they get there, they'll ride up and down the mountain before the peloton gets there.
Mm-hmm.
And before the peloton gets there, there's a whole publicity train, which they're throwing out all sorts of like souvenirs and bags and all that stuff. So
you can get some paraphernalia. Yeah. To remember your trip by.
Hang out in the feeding zone. So sometimes
what's that?
They get these feed bags which have like water bottles, snacks, and all that stuff, so they can eat as they're riding. Because they don't stop. They don't fall over. Oh, I'm going to eat a sandwich. No, they're eating as they're going. Then they'll take those bags, throw them off to the side of the road, and fastest one to grab it gets it.
Interesting.
People are always grabbing bottles and all that stuff, so let's get all that stuff and ship it back home.
And then the person who, I guess, is there actually a finish line for the Tour de France?
Yeah.
Okay.
Finishes in Paris.
What was that?
Finishes in Paris.
Finishes in Paris. So you go from It's like from one end of France to the other, basically, for your
Yeah.
trip.
Yep.
That is cool.
And
Sounds like fun.
And it is going on right now as we speak.
Well,
and it
after the
is
show,
close.
you can
watch the replay.
Watch the whole thing. So
sometimes I wake up like 5 o'clock in the morning to watch it live.
Now that is dedication to this. Is it every year? Is it Tour de France every year?
Pretty much every year since 1904 or 1905, something like that.
Well, I mean, maybe Scotland should be, lower on your list. If maybe Jenny can do this instead.
Oh, I have to take a month off work. I don't have that much vacation time.
Oh, understandable. But what about you, Turp? Do you have a dream vacation? You just gotta go on?
Dream vacation. I've given this a lot of thought, and there's a lot of things that I would like to do.
Yeah,
there's a lot of things that Angie and I have talked about doing, and like if I could go anywhere, I would like to check out, I believe, Greece. I would love to check out the ruins. I'd love to check out I really enjoy not necessarily mythology, but like the history and I do enjoy the mythology that went along with it. But I'd like to see the Parthenon and walk where people walked centuries ago. That's when I was younger. I've talked about it on here before. I got the chance to go to Germany and Italy and went to Rome and got to walk down on the floor of the Colosseum. And you're like looking around going, man, this has been here for the last 2,000 years. And there's been 2,000 years worth of people that have walked right exactly where I'm walking. And I think that's neat. Being from like Northern Arkansas, there's a good possibility. Like if I went off the beaten path, my foot might step where nobody has ever stepped before.
Yeah,
because it's a pretty remote area. So to think that, this place has been inhabited since the beginning of recorded time just kind of blows my hair back. And I like that. I like the history that comes along with it. I would like to see things like the hot gates, from the graphic novel and the movie 300.
Oh yeah. Have your 300 moment.
Yeah. Just go see things that that are referenced in other movies and in history and things that you've read about and you've heard about, but to actually stand there and to see it. Like there was a certain feeling standing on the floor of the Colosseum or standing in the Vatican, that like this is people. There's so many people that have seen this and have been right here. It's just that kind of amazes me, and I'd like to experience some more of that. I would like to look at the evolution of human history. There's just so many things from the BC times to actually like the time of Christ. People were walking in this area. And to, even now, even though the things that are going on, in Greece or whatever now, the borderline collapse and all that, it's, I think that would be really neat just to be able to take that in, to see things that I've only read about.
That'd be awesome. I have a kind of a dumb question. Like these monuments and structures in Greece, and I guess in Rome as well, they've been around forever. What material are they made of? I don't know.
Stone.
Just stone. Okay.
Some are marble, I think.
Yeah, there's a lot of it's made out of marble. It's just a very dense stone.
So, did you have an interest in Greek mythology too?
I have an interest in Greek mythology. I think they're cool stories. Yeah. I like it. I like when like movies and things are based on Greek mythology and and books and whatnot. Like I have a little bit of a guilty pleasure. I like the Percy Jackson movies. I don't know if you've seen those. They're made for kids. It's like a Greek mythology version of kind of Harry Potter. It's aimed at that same, like the young teenagers.
Okay.
But I liked it. And Isaac's got the books actually, and I might sneak around and read them if I ever had free time. But yeah, what's that? But I have seen the movies and I like that. And I like things like 300. I like that's based on that type. Here we go. Y'all have met me. I'm not a little dude. Just by genetics, I'm a big guy. I'm not like crazy big. I'm only 6 foot tall, but I'm about 240 pounds. I'm not.
You're a guy.
I'm a man. I'm a man. But I think had I been born in those times, and this is a little insight into my stupid head. would I have been just a big dumb oaf? Would I have been like a guy that was actually smart enough to invent something? Because I'm not a dumb guy. I'm an engineer, so I mean, I'm kind of lean towards doing things, to inventing things. Would I've had that curiosity, that mindset to not, anymore? We don't reinvent the wheel. We don't just do things because people have done it before. But would I come up with something new at that time? Would I come up with a better way for things to happen? Or would I have been one of those cool guys with abs, like on the battlefield, stabbing somebody? Because I think I might have been good at that. I might have been good at wrestling or something, fighting or, whatever they did. Maybe, who knows? So this is just kind of my weird, stupid thoughts. What kind of guy would I have been if I'd have been born in a different time? I like to think that I would have been one of those 300 dudes with abs, and I would have been like beating people up because I would have been so much bigger than they were.
Yeah.
Because people were smaller.
You were short back in those days.
Yeah. Like, I would have been like Goliath. Somebody would have hit me in the head with a rock. So I don't know. That's just my stupid thoughts.
Well, I think the cool thing about Greece is you said the history, but also just the weather and the ocean by it. I mean, that is also just a pleasant place on that regard too, as a vacation spot.
Well, there's a reason that people have been there since the dawn of time, because it is kind of a paradise type world.
Yeah.
It's the weather's perfect. There's plenty of resources. It's I'd like to check it out. I'd like to see it and just see what's going on over there.
Well, what would be stopping you from going to Greece? Is it
time?
Like Charles' thing with time and money?
It's mostly time. And hopefully my son never listens to this, but I'm waiting for him to get older. Because he could either go and enjoy it or stay at home. That's the biggest thing, is having, and kids, they kind of keep you from doing stuff like that for a while. So that's the biggest thing, is just time and leaving him in another hemisphere. That might be part of it. That would be difficult for me as a parent.
I know. As a parent, yeah, you want to, have him enjoy this with you, but at the same time, I mean, you don't want him to go and be like, can we go to the mall? Or you know what I mean?
Yeah. Where's Mickey Mouse? That's where's the roller coaster?
It's like, it's not that kind of vacation, okay?
Right.
Now, would you ever want to go to check all the Disney Worlds?
Shoot, yeah. That's something that Angie and I have actually talked about. Of course, we've done Disney World. We're hopefully sometime soon doing Disneyland in Anaheim, California.
Anaheim, right? Yeah.
The original.
Yeah, the OG.
The OG.
I would definitely I've been to the parking lot at Disneyland Paris.
Okay.
Disney. There's a metro stop right there outside of it. And we drove in, we parked at Disneyland Paris, or Disney World Paris. Yeah, Disneyland Paris. When I was over there, we parked there because it was free parking, and we took the metro into the city. So I've been to the parking lot of Disneyland Paris. I would like to do Tokyo and then Hong Kong, obviously. Yeah, I'd love to. I'd love to see them all, just see the differences and see the different, the same take or different take on the same subject matter.
Definitely. Plus, you get to see all those cool countries as well, so that's a nice perk. So. Well,
what about you, Philip? What if you could?
Where do you want to go?
Time and money and whatever else were no issue.
I thought about this for a while, because my immediate thought was Japan, because obviously the video games are awesome there, but also because of the culture and the history. But then I started going back and forth, like, well, I also really want to go to Australia. So like I'm at a interesting toss-up between these two. Like Japan has, it obviously has the video games. It has all these cool cities like Tokyo and Kyoto and Akihabara and all those other awesome places that I just see in the games I play or some of the movies I watch. But then you have Australia, which has just amazing weather, the oceans, the wildlife, the simple, laid-back attitudes. Everyone is just enjoying their lives. There's no stress. My favorite recording artist, Kylie Minogue, is from there. So who knows? Maybe I would run into her by some off chance.
That's a giant continent, right?
I know, but hey,
Okay, just checking.
a guy can dream, you know.
You could watch some Australian rules football. You ever seen any of that?
Australian what?
Australian rules football.
I'm not sure what that is. But so I'm at a toss between those two. So I guess my ideal trip would be flying into one of those Oh, okay.
There you go.
I'd be down with that.
So
you know me so well, Charles. God, you have a lot of tabs. You have a lot of tabs open, dude.
Yes. That's nothing.
For those who are listening to audio only, he showed me a screenshot and he had like 20 tabs open.
So like 7.
But anyway, so my ideal like vacation, pie in the sky vacation, fly into either Japan or Australia, and then fly to the other place, and then fly on back home. So that's how that would go. But as of now, I'm still leaning more towards Japan. I mean, obviously.
Yeah, I can see why
you'll be a giant in that land.
I don't know. This is maybe me, might be me in my white bread world. I don't know. But are people there really short, or is that an Asian thing? I mean, I really don't know.
Yeah,
I think just by like genetics, they're pretty small people.
Aw. Charles is like waving, like, "Yep, he's one of them."
But what are you gonna say, Turf?
I don't know. I don't have any idea. Yeah, it's a fleeting thought. So I can get Japan, Australia would be really cool to see because there is a lot there. I would like to Sydney would seem like it'd be really cool.
Yeah.
I don't know what's there, but people seem to like it.
People seem to like it. The one thing that worries me about Australia is that there's a lot of poisonous animals there. Like
it doesn't bother you that it's an entire continent of thieves?
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Well, it was a prison colony. Come on.
Yeah.
Oh, it was? Oh,
no,
see,
I'm joking. I kid, and that's moderately racist, and I apologize to the entire continent of Australia
and country,
and yeah, anybody else involved.
That went right over my head.
Any bogans that are listening, I'm sorry.
It would be cool to see a kangaroo in the wild too, of course. I mean, come on.
Oh, that would be cool. And maybe a wallaby.
Wallaby, those are cute. I would not want to see.
Kills you.
The what?
Because the crocodile kills you.
Yeah, like there are dangerous animals there. Like there's a spider. This is gonna be. I'm gonna nerd out for a second. There is a spider there called the funnel web, and like they hide in shoes. Like they're not in like remote countryside rural areas. They like to go in the cities and hide in people's shoes, and they are very, very poisonous. So that is like one thing that kind of worries me about going to Australia, these giant spiders. So it's like, come on, dude, why you gotta be so poisonous?
Don't be a dick, spider.
they just caught a huge ass crocodile in Australia that they've been trying to catch for a couple of decades. It is a 1,300 pound crocodile, and it is
1,300 pound.
1,300 pound crocodile, 4.7 meters long.
Does he eat it like Ponderosa every night? I mean, God, why is it so big?
It's 60 years old.
Dude, that's a dinosaur.
Yeah. That is big. Yeah, it's a dinosaur. Yeah, exactly.
A 15-foot crocodile.
That's insane.
Yeah, see, stuff like this is what's making me think, yeah, Japan. Also, one thing I just thought of, I mean, I've been trying to learn the language, so that'd be another opportunity for me to see if I can actually put what I learned to use.
But you already speak English, so you already know the language.
For Australia.
In Japan? Oh, for Australia, yeah. You're right.
There are...
I'd have an accent there.
So. Oi, mate, can you tell me what a Donny is?
God. That is the worst Australian accent.
I can't do crazy. Like Australia's right there, and like everything there can kill you.
Yeah.
It's not too terribly far to New Zealand.
No.
And there's nothing there that can kill you.
There's hobbits in New Zealand.
There's hobbits? No, there's not. That was just filmed there.
They still have the Hobbit Town still there.
The only thing that could kill you in New Zealand is like what? The nice weather,
people,
the pretty oceans,
the waterfalls,
the grass.
You piss off Amari, they'll kill you.
They will kill you. They're like genetically some of the toughest people on the planet. I've got a good friend that he's from New Zealand. Actually, he came over here and lived for about a decade. Then he went back to New Zealand. He got married and moved back to New Zealand with his American wife. And man, he would be here like helping you do stuff, and like he'd just run his hand into any hole and like cleaning leaves out from under stuff and whatever. I'm like, dude, do not stick your hand in there. Copperheads, snakes, kill you. So, oh, might I forget? We don't have that stuff back home. Really, dude? And now the only people from, I guess, the Kiwi folks that I know, Andrew, my friend, is 6'10". His entire like his sister's like 6'2". They're all just, his parents are normal size, like his dad's like 6 foot, 6'2", something like that. But he's got a brother that's giant and his sister's giant. They're just incredibly large people.
She's an Amazon.
Well, I mean, just a really tall woman.
Yeah.
But I don't know. That's the only people that I knew from New Zealand. They're giant people. That and a couple of their friends that came to his wedding. But it was just crazy that was my first introduction. Like, are they all your size? Oh no, mate, it's fun. Don't be worldly.
This guy sounds like a lot of fun.
Oh, dude, man, me and No Shep had a good time. We had a lot of fun together.
You guys still keep in touch? Could you visit New Zealand now? And
absolutely. I talked to Jen, his wife. Probably she messaged me on Facebook about once every other month or so. So yeah, oh, you need to come down here and stay. And of course, she's picking up an accent now, so it's weird.
I wondered about that.
They came back here. I guess it's a year and a half ago, and they have a son named Carter, which is another giant child. He's like 2 and he's my height. I made that up, but he is a big kid.
He's about my height, probably.
What's funny is Jen is she's probably maybe 5'1", 5'2", and he's 6'10", and they made a child.
Like, yes.
I don't know how she didn't die. But man, yeah, she'll oh, you need to come see us. But she was here, and she kind of loses her accent after being here for a couple of weeks. And so we're sitting around talking. It's a friend's house, and then she goes, oh yeah, it's so and so. Kata, who? She was getting onto her kid and turned like New Zealand, turned Kiwi just immediately. Kata, who are you? Where did that voice come from?
Now, is she from the South originally?
She's from Florida.
Florida? Did she have a Southern accent? Or?
She had that Florida no accent.
Okay.
Not the Southern accent. You know, like how people from larger metropolitan areas, they don't really have an accent.
Definitely.
Like a California accent. They don't have an accent.
Sure.
Well, right from the Valley, they got that Valley accent.
I think that's just a gross stereotype. I'm sure there's some of those.
Talk about Florida, how weird Florida is. I don't want to go to Florida. Florida scares me.
What? Florida is weird. It's like old people and meth.
Some Chicago tourists just got stabbed in Florida by a homeless guy who has no arms.
That?
He paints with his feet, so he stabbed the guy with scissors of his feet.
Well,
no joke.
Maybe the Chicago tourists had it coming. I don't know. I don't like whenever.
Dude, if a dude can stand on one foot and stab you, you had it coming. You were standing too close.
Yeah.
You invaded his personal space. I'm with no arms here. I'm with Captain Hook without the hook.
And you know how tourists can be.
I'm team amputee.
That's one thing that I always thought about whenever I would if I were to go to a faraway foreign country, like how much of a tourist would I be? Because whenever I go to new places, I try my best not to act like a tourist. You guys know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Here's my thought. I've done a little bit. I try not to be the obnoxious American, because we kind of do. There's a stereotype, and I don't want to reinforce that stereotype. Does that make sense?
Definitely.
So whenever I go, like when we were in Europe, and I go back to this a lot, even though it happened 15 years ago, I'm like, we tried to greet people in their language, whatever country we were in, and politely ask them in their language if they spoke English. So just to try to hey, we're not assholes. We're not all just
Yeah.
fat slobs like you see on TV.
Nice. I like that.
Yeah.
That's the way it should be. Like I know when I live, when I work in downtown Nashville, and it's a lot of tourists down there. So I try not to, get too aggravated by them, walking around and taking pictures and moving slowly. But man, it's hard not to.
It really is. If you're native somewhere, it's hard not to. Now, I say that because I'm just putting myself in someone else's shoes because I've never lived anywhere that had tourists.
Well, I'm sure Arkansas is lovely this time of year.
Well, I take it when I was in high school, I worked at a golf course restaurant in a little town, and they had a small resort at that town, and people would come from all over. I mean, I waited on people that didn't even speak English. I know there was an Italian family. I know I've waited on a French family, and this golf course restaurant in Horseshoe Bend, Arkansas.
Really?
Absolutely. It was well advertised to go to Crown Point Resort.
Cool.
It was a lovely little place, and people like to come and they would see, it's very naturey, very, it was on a lake, and I kind of take that for granted that, you see, I get y'all too, especially y'all see city streets and stuff all day, every day.
Mm-hmm.
I see long open highways that y'all would have to drive 20 miles to see.
Wow.
So I kind of take that for granted, I guess, that some people, as bad as like I like to go look at things and I want to go to Greece or I want to go to New York or I want to go to Orlando or LA. I take a lot of people from those bigger cities like to come to nothing. Which I guess I get that.
You live in Chicago. I'm sure there's tourists every which way you look.
Yeah. God, sometimes it get on my nerves. I'm like, yes, the building's tall. You're blocking. Why do you have to stand 4 wide on the sidewalk? I can't fucking walk past you guys. Jesus Christ.
See, Charles,
move out of the way. There's no traffic. Even if don't walk, just cross the goddamn street.
I just like to go. I'll just be like, excuse me, and then they'll be like, oh, I'm sorry, and they'll move out of my way. I'm like, ugh. Of course, I'll just mumble under my breath something, and just be on my merry way.
Even these goddamn suburbanites sometimes come from Schaumburg, don't know what the hell they're doing. They're from Schaumburg, they're suburbs. Like, oh god. I was like, Jenny was at this hot dog stand by my work, and someone ordered a combo, thinking they're ordering a hot dog, fries, and drink combo.
Mm-hmm.
No. What a combo is, you get your Italian beef and your Italian sausage. That's your combo right there. And it's like, what is this? I don't know. I said, no, you ordered a combo. Yeah, I ordered a combo. This is the combo. No, it's not. Yes, this is a combo. I'm like,
damn tourists. I like whenever food is mentioned and your Chicago accent really comes out.
Sorry.
I love it. Because when I visited you, Charles, I'd try my darndest not to be a tourist. Like we did one touristy thing, which was like the boat tour, which I'll admit was cool.
Yeah.
But other than that, I wanted to be a local, and that was fun.
This Lou Malnati's is kind of touristy-ish. It's where the locals take the tourists to.
Is it? Okay. I wasn't sure, but I mean, I love pizza, so I mean, I couldn't say no to that.
Yeah, if you want pizza, I'll take you a good pizza place that's not touristy.
All right. Yeah. See, something to look forward to.
Go ahead. I want to go do the touristy stuff because, like, we've been talking about going to LA, and I want to go do the Chinese theater. I want to put my hand in John Wayne's handprint. I want to do all that stupid touristy stuff. I want to ride the double-decker bus and go look at celebrity homes. But at the same time, I'd like to do, like, if I came to Chicago or something, I want to do, like, go find the local spot, the hot thing that nobody knows about. It's off the beaten path. So there's a weird little mix where I enjoy things.
Sure. That definitely makes sense.
If I do this Scotland trip, go to Edinburgh, like, go find a place that's got some good haggis.
Some good what?
Haggis.
What's that?
It is
It's gross.
It's the sheep's pluck, which is lungs, liver, heart, all ground up to put in a sausage of oatmeal,
Okay.
other spices, and all that. It's supposed to be very savory.
It's put in the stomach and then boiled.
Yeah.
Oh my. I mean,
or deep fried in Scotland. They deep fry everything. They deep fry Mars bars. They deep fry pizza. They,
Are you talking about Scotland or Texas?
I'm gonna say
this is Scotland.
The home of deep fried butter.
Sounds like a Mississippi thing more than a Scotland thing.
Deep fried salad. Deep fried fry oil.
Deep fried peanut oil, please.
Now, when you boys travel, do you prefer to fly or do you prefer to drive?
I haven't flown since 1989, so it's been a long time.
Planes have changed since 1989.
Yeah, I was on a DC-10. Don't get too many tri-engines up there anymore.
Right. What about you? So it sounds like, so basically you just don't have a preference. It just sounds like you only are you just usually drive just out of, I don't know, not convenience, but
yeah, it's out of
just drive because that's what you do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or I take Amtrak. I took Amtrak all the way out to California once.
Jesus.
That was a nice trip.
Okay.
Whenever I travel, I have an 8-hour circle that I'll drive because it's faster to drive. If I go to Dallas, Atlanta, Nashville, St. Louis, probably Chicago. I'd probably drive to Chicago.
Yeah.
Oklahoma City, that way, Kansas City. Anyways, that San Antonio, maybe that circle I'll drive. But if I get outside that circle, I'm flying, man. Because if you fly anywhere, it takes the biggest part of the day, right?
Layer mask, and he's like, "Isn't that magic? Isn't that interesting?"
Anyways, sorry about that.
If you go to fly, it takes pretty much all day, right? You've got to get there 2 hours early or an hour and a half early, whatever. And then it takes you another hour to get off the plane and get your bags and get to the car. So I figure unless it's, a long way is going to take the entire day, I'll just drive it and have my car when I get there.
Not a bad idea. My circle is a little bit less than yours, Turf. I have about a 3-hour limit I can do. So Louisville is perfect. Like that's a drive I can do. And by the time I get there, I'm like, okay, enough car time. I just don't do well with long car trips. I don't know. Maybe it's just trauma from summer vacations with the whole family being stuck in a car for hours on end or whatever. But I much rather fly. I like flying.
The only downside to flying for me is when I get there, I don't have a vehicle. And if I do rent one, I don't have mine.
You like to drive your car, your space. I like to
drive mine. I like to have all my stuff and be lined out to do my thing. So last, I guess, January, we went to Florida and went to Crystal Rivers, which was lovely, for like a long weekend. And I flew, and then we rented a car, which it wasn't bad. I didn't hate it, but I would have, had we been closer, I would have taken my own and just been perfectly happy having my own wheels.
Sure. I remember one time you drove to Vegas. Is that right?
Unfortunately, and I will never do that again.
That sounds terrible.
That was absolute murder. Me and some friends went to another friend's wedding in Las Vegas, Nevada. It was 24 hours in the car.
Oh my God.
We drove there, stayed 2 days, and came home. Never, ever, ever again will I do something so ignorant.
So what did you guys think, like, hey, it'll be like a road trip like old times, it'll be fun? Or
that was kind of what it was. Me and my buddy that was ramrodding this thing, me and him, we've driven all over everywhere. And he used to work for a guy that remodeled Walmarts. And they drove him and his brother and his dad, they worked for this guy, and they drove all over the country. So he's like, oh, we can do it. It ain't no problem. Man, We ain't spring chickens no more. We can't be acting like that. Drive out there and act a fool for 2 days and then try to come home.
Like my only, I guess you could say, actually my only road trip, like kind of like which you're talking about, not like a family vacation, was the first Retropalooza that I went to when Charles and Jenny picked me up and we met you in Arkansas, then drove to Dallas. That was like my first ever road trip, and I'm going to end my road tripping on a good note. I loved hanging with them, but too much car time. Like I said, I'm like, okay, I just want to get there. I want to, pack. I want to change all these clothes. I want to be there, So
and
that's
Jenny,
something that's really nice to do on like a flight. You get on the plane in Nashville. 2 hours later, you're in the DFW airport catching a shuttle to the hotel. That's pretty nice. So I mean, but
you don't get to drive with Mario Andretti. I mean, Jenny.
True. And sometimes flying sucks. I mean, I can probably count on both hands the number of times my flight was not delayed by some reason, computer, weather, stupid pilots, stupid staff, who knows. But yeah, whenever I travel, I'm a flyer person by all means. So
is there anywhere else like y'all would just like to kind of like to go? Like not, just like, if it happens, but I mean like another place on your list that maybe not was number one, but somewhere else you'd like to go?
Definitely. Hawaii is one of them.
Hawaii, that's a good, I mean, that's a good one.
Yeah.
What about you, Charles?
I mean, I want to go to Japan someday. Trace down the family lineage there.
See, I would be scared to like, my family came from Germany. I would be scared to go trace it down because like my mom's side of the family, they traced it back and did like the whole, it's been several genealogy things several years ago. And they found out they had a ancestor that was hung by bushwhackers. Reconstruction from the Civil War. He was stealing horses. So I'd be kind of scared of what I'd find. I'm perfectly okay just being, the poor old white trash over turfs here in Arkansas. I'm good with that.
But Germany would be cool. I mean, just to say you've been there.
Germany is a very cool country. I did get to go.
You did go there. Okay.
I did. And like I've been to Castle Frankenstein. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
There was a handrail on the sidewalk, which I thought was odd that they had somebody installed a handrail just kind of haphazardly.
Yeah.
It would look like a homemade job. It was weird. Like this is supposed to be like the Frankenstein castle, the Mary Shelley, but it looked like a homemade job with a handrail. It was weird. It was definitely weird.
I thought of another place I'd like to go to is Portugal. I heard that's a really cool.
I don't even know anybody that's done Portugal. That would be like my parents went to Spain. They did a whole Mediterranean thing one time, and they enjoyed Spain. But I don't know anybody that's ever been to Portugal.
There's a buddy of mine on another website, a gaming website. He's from Portugal, and like I don't know, we have like the same exact taste in games. So there's others out there, and Portugal, just from pictures I've seen and some of the history I've read about it, just seems like a really cool place to visit.
I'm with you.
Yeah. I'm really hoping I can get this Scotland trip going down because once there, it's a quick 7-hour drive to London.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Go to Cardiff, Wales. Go see where they film lots of Doctor Who and Torchwood.
Yeah, I could
go to Newcastle. Go to the brewery.
See the Newcastle.
I could see I could see this happening for you, Charles. This doesn't sound too bad at all. Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be fun if I can do it. I get a passport.
You what?
I've got to get a passport. I don't have a passport yet.
Yeah, that doesn't take much.
Yeah.
Pretty
easy.
Just a simple background check. As long as you've never tried to like overthrow the country, you're good.
Shit.
One thing I think of, and Turf, you've been there, so you can probably tell me if it's worth a visit or not, is Oklahoma. And I say that because there's a lot of gamers like us out there who like older stuff, the retro stuff.
The people, like the retro gaming scene in Oklahoma is, from what I know, pretty cool.
Yeah.
from the city of Oklahoma City and the city of Tulsa, the two that I've been to, especially Tulsa, not as much Oklahoma City. It's a dump.
Oh,
I'm not in Oklahoma. I don't know how Oklahoma, it ranks up right up there with Mississippi. I'm from Arkansas, so it tells you what
ouch.
I think. Yeah, Tulsa especially.
Inferno tier level burn. I love it.
Like Oral Roberts is right in the middle of Tulsa. And so I was at one time driving around Tulsa just trying to see like this place is this is a bad place. Definitely not any kind of hole. But so I'm cruising around, and this is what I do when I cruise. I turn my wheel like this. So I'm cruising around, and it is just a nasty town. And then you come across the Oral Roberts University. I'm like, holy cow, this place is gorgeous. It is a gorgeous campus. So it's just really weird that it's just in the middle of such a shit town.
So visit it only if there's a convention going on.
Yeah, I went to Super BitCon a few years ago. Me and my brother did, and it was a good convention. And I really like shout out to all my Oklahomies out there. You like that?
Yeah.
There's some really cool guys out there. Some that put on the RGS and put on the Super BitCon out there. They are the Retro Gamer Society. They're good dudes, and yeah. So if you nothing against you guys, I just think your state sucks.
Yeah.
It's got that weird handle on it.
Yeah, you look like a pot.
Yeah.
If your state looks like a pot, come on.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You got to rethink your statehood.
I know. Get that shit divided or something.
Give that part back to Texas. Texas won't mind.
Well, okay, that's so you've convinced me to just hold off until there's a cool convention going on. I've never been in that state. It'd be cool to check that one off the list. So
I think, man, I'm tough on Oklahoma, but it's not bad. It is. It is bad, but like I said, there's good people there, and I'm sure there's good parts. I just don't know where they are.
I think that's kind of true with like anywhere really. There's always going to be those hood nasty parts, and then there's those really wealthy, really extravagant parts, and somewhere in the middle there's always the in-betweens. I mean, when I was in New Orleans back in January, there was so much money. Like I have never seen such gorgeous houses, in my life when we were all driving around there. But I know that's also a city that has a very high crime rate, lots of poverty. So it's just like any city.
Just
any major cities that way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like Chicago's got lovely places, I'm sure, and then there's places in Chicago that you don't go after dark.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or during the day,
or during any 24-hour period.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, and that's anywhere, so you can't really judge New Orleans on that. New Orleans is a cool town.
New Orleans is me. That's probably my new favorite city I've ever been to.
Lots of cool history,
food. Oh my god, the food, so good.
Let me tell you somewhere that I think everybody should visit, and this is just because I have no attachment to the place at all. San Antonio is a cool town.
Oh, okay.
It's kind of overlooked, I think, by most people as far as travel goes. But the Riverwalk down there is such a cool place. It's just a cool vibe. I would definitely suggest San Antonio to anybody.
Is that where the Alamo is?
Yes.
Okay. We could go to the basement and find Pee-wee's bike.
You can go to the basement of the Alamo. Tell them Large Marge sent you.
Well, my friend, this has been very educational and very cool, and really, I think my main takeaway from this is, Charles, I really hope you get to go to Scotland, because this trip is what kind of inspired this topic tonight.
Yeah, get out of this country.
Get out of this country for a bit, yeah. Well, I'm going to hand the floor over to Turf, and Turf, I'm going to let you say our goodbyes, so take it away.
Well, I'll tell you, if y'all like this episode of Our Parents' Basement, this one is pretty cool. But you can find any of these other episodes on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, iHeartRadio, SoundCloud, TuneIn, Spotify, and the list goes on. Be sure to hit us up, man. Check those out and subscribe, because you never know. You might want this downloaded to your phone. You can take it anywhere and we've got 5 other episodes. So we've got lots of download and take with you on the go. Now, if you want to watch us live, we're live every Thursday on YouTube. You can find us. Just search for Our Parents' Basement and hit the old subscribe button and hit that little bell next to it. That way you get the alert when we go live. So there's those. If you want to interact with us, we're on Twitter at OPB Podcast, Facebook.com/OPB Podcast, Instagram's at OPB Podcast. I love to hear from you guys. I love the interaction. I love the comments, the questions, the smart remarks, whatever else you got. Be sure to check back with us next week live. We very well may have a guest that we're working out the details with, so be sure to check that out. And that's about all I got, man. I enjoyed hanging out with you guys tonight. Charles, if you want to say goodnight and press that button,
thank you.
Now would be a good time.
All right.
Safe
Good
travels,
night.
everyone.
See y'all later. Good night.